Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Adoption Q&A webinar. We are excited to speak with you here from Lifetime Adoption, a nationwide licensed child placing agency licensed in the states of Florida and Arkansas, and helping adoptive parents and placing parents all across the country. We've actually completed adoptions in every state and have been assisting with adoption since 1986. My name is Kim King, and I'm here with Heather Featherston, and we're going to be answering the questions that are on your minds. So no matter where you are in your process, we are happy that you are taking a little time out here with us to invest in learning more about adoption and continuing to get to know us here at Lifetime. If you are brand new to Lifetime, this is one of our educational public webinars that we just like to connect with the people in the adoption world and help you find your direction and give you some clarity and answer the questions that are truly on your minds. We also host twice a month private webinars for our families that are in our program. So if you are one of our families, you are of course welcome to stick around, but be sure to keep your eye out for your invites to your twice a month private webinars as a Lifetime family. So Heather, thank you for being here with us today.
I'm happy to join you, Kim. I love doing these quick fire Q&As because we are able to answer questions that were submitted when people registered, as well as other questions that come up during the call today.
Mhm. So if you are brand new to Lifetime and have not taken the next step and applied with us, we are one of the few agencies that offers a free application. We want to find out more about what your needs are and a little bit about your family characteristics as well before we determine, hey, are we the best fit to help you and partner with you on the path to your baby? So be sure to fill out the free application at lifetimeadoption.com. You can see the QR code if you are joining on a device where you can see things. But you can go to lifetimeadoption.com/apply, and the application should really only take about 15 minutes. Now, at the end, it's going to ask for a current photo of you, so just be sure to upload that, or you can email it later. You can also request Lifetime's info packet for prospective adoptive parents. So if you have not yet received that, or you received it in the past, don't know where it is, just email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com. It is totally viewable online, but you know, Heather, I have a lot of families printing it out so they can kind of flip through it, kind of old school like, and I like that a lot, that they can, hold it in their hands. And it's
You
so
bet.
pretty when I'm on video calls with families and they hold up
Uh-huh.
their packet. It's just so pretty. But it
Awesome.
has tons of information. It's not just a pretty face. It has all the details about what you can expect financially. It has an infographic on each step throughout a typical adoption process and lots of information that families want to know. And Heather, I think we've gotten pretty good at understanding where families are when they
Mhm,
come to us and what's on
mhm,
their mind, what are their concerns.
mhm.
And that's all part of why we like to host these educational adoption webinars for you.
You bet. Mhm.
You can also call us. You don't have to have an application filled out. You don't have to have a scheduled appointment to call and speak with a coordinator. Just call and say, hey, I am a prospective adoptive family. I, have some questions. I'm just starting my research. Or, hey, maybe you're expanding your search. Sometimes, Heather, families start with a small local agency, do their
Mhm.
home study, and then find out that they need to do more to connect with a birth mom. And that
Yes.
is really a big strength of Lifetime is
Mhm.
our outreach because we receive multiple new intakes from birth moms on a daily basis. You can actually, and this might be a little distracting, but if you're not driving or anything right now, you can actually go to our website and view birth mothers seeking families or birth parents seeking expectant mothers seeking families. And there is a lot of information on there that is super helpful and I hope encouraging for adoptive parents because what happens is each birth mother coordinator here at Lifetime is able to share a little snippet of information about some of the birth moms that they are assisting. So if
Mhm.
that birth mom coordinator feels led to do that for that specific client, she can put a little snapshot of information. She's completed the intake with the birth mom. She's presented the birth mom with profiles of our matching waiting families that are already working with us. And the takeaway for you as prospective adoptive parents is to learn a little bit more about what we're seeing with birth moms, because those are actual women that we are currently assisting. Find out maybe a little of what they're looking for and some of their characteristics. because, sometimes you might have questions about demographics and different things. So that's really helpful. And it's also encouraging because you get to see that there really are women that we hear from every day who
Hmm.
are wanting to
Absolutely.
choose a family.
Hmm. That's absolutely right. And that page Kim's referring to, it also helps moms considering adoption. We've had moms say, you know what, it's nice to see that. Nice to know that I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. So
Mhm.
that's a great resource. Well, Kim, are you ready to jump into our questions?
Let's go.
Okay. So the first question we had submitted was, who chooses the baby's name? And that's a question we answer a lot.
So, when it comes to your adoption, you're going to receive a birth certificate when you have completed the legal aspect of your adoption. So you name your baby. However, at the hospital in those early days, you don't yet have legal rights to the child. The adoption hasn't been completed yet. We still have a few more steps to get through before that happens. So at first, the hospital is going to come around and have the birth mom fill out the paperwork for the original birth certificate, and she will be able to put the name of her choosing on there. Now, a lot of times, this is something that people discuss together in their adoption planning together as placing parent and adoptive parents. They often want to know if either party has any ideas on the name. Certainly, our adoptive parents generally have their short list of names that they have their heart set on. And sometimes those are kind of like they overlap a little with birth
Hmm.
mom, or maybe they could use a significant name as the middle name or a secondary middle name. There are a lot of really beautiful ways that you can work together on the naming. But the bottom line is that once you have the legal rights to the child, you're going to receive a new birth certificate with your names as parents and the name that you have given to your child. Now, over 95% of our adoptions are newborns. So we're not talking necessarily about an 8-year-old and changing his or her name, right? I think we can all agree that could be a little traumatic. But when it comes to a newborn, then of course, when you receive your baby, even before you have your legal new birth certificate and adoption complete, you will be referring to your baby by the name you've given that child, and then it becomes legal once you have finalized that adoption.
Hmm. But I think, it is good to remember a couple things about this. Number one, the birth mother does have the right to choose the name at birth. But like Kim said, the name will change upon the final adoption. And number two, I always encourage families to never have the name be a make or break in adoption.
Hmm.
It's
That's
just,
really good advice.
there's always a way to work together, to negotiate, to, it's just it it's in the grand scheme of things, it is not something to make or break an adoption. I understand that it is a big deal, and that's one of the things that it doesn't come up much, but at Lifetime we have helped families and birth moms find a way forward in a way that everyone is happy with when there is a very important reason for a birth mother to say that she wants to be a part of the permanent name. And like I
Mhm.
say, it doesn't happen that much, but it is, Kim, it is interesting how often we see that the name the family is thinking of is very similar or often the same as what the birth mother had in mind.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Mhm.
So, next, how long is the wait to adopt? And
So, yeah, there's no standard time
no.
frame. It's not like any other wait in your life, right? Well,
Mhm.
maybe there could be one or two human people relationship based things we could compare this to. But adoption isn't really comparable to anything, so we'll stay away
No.
from those examples. Um, when it comes to your time frame for completing an adoption, there are so many factors to keep in mind, Heather, right?
Mhm, mhm, absolutely, and one of the big ones is the preferences of the adoptive family, meaning what race of child are you open to? What age of child? What degree of substance exposure are you open to? Are you open to more? Are you open to less? Um, and there's other things that come into play. At Lifetime, we primarily focus on open adoption. So, you know, the families in our program are all open to open adoption, but if you're adopting through someone else, that may play if you are not open to that. Lifetime has limited openings for families open on gender. That does
Or
decrease the number
specifying
of
gender.
specifying gender. Yes, sorry. That
Hmm.
does decrease the number of opportunities because, of course, you would only be shown to moms with the pregnant with the gender that you're hoping for.
And who know
So
the gender.
right. So the first thing that families can control is their preferences. Obviously, the more open your preferences are, the more birth parents you're going to get in front of. And so the more opportunities you'll have to be chosen. Now, the other part of the equation is the fact that the birth mother does choose. And that is just the way that modern adoption is today. So the wait to be chosen is really when you hear people talk about, waiting to adopt, it is waiting to be chosen by a birth mother. And part of Lifetime's program is really helping you develop, giving you guidelines, giving you feedback from real birth mothers that we're really working with right now to try to help you bring out what's different about you so that a birth mother can connect with you in a way that is meaningful. And that doesn't mean that you're, Barbie and Ken in a big brick house with a beautifully mowed green lawn. She isn't looking for that. She is looking for a connection, a familiarity, something about you, something in common. That's really what birth parents are primarily looking for. So a big part of Lifetime's program is, like I say, working with you with that true feedback that comes in every day, to help you develop what it is that makes you different than other families. Because to be honest, every adoptive family can say, we're ready to love your baby. We care about you. We're going to provide, a warm family home and opportunity and education. But birth moms are looking for more than that, and that is a really key part of the equation.
Hmm. Heather, and can you hear me? I don't know if I clicked the
Yes,
mute button. Okay,
yes.
okay. So, now that we've explained and set up kind of the environment that you'll be in when you get chosen by a birth mom and some of the factors that you have to control. The reality is with lifetime, many families adopt within 1 or 2 years, but some families take longer than that. I think in the world of adoption today in the US, 2 to 3 years is pretty normal. Anything less than that would be considered pretty quick. So now, of course, you have all different types of adoption as families in the US, you have so many options to choose from. But here at Lifetime, we're only talking about private domestic adoption where a birth mother
Mhm.
is choosing you voluntarily. Now, if when Heather said the term open adoption, you kind of felt like, wait, what's that? I need to learn more. Or, hey, I don't want that. Isn't that confusing? Allow us to help you. There is so much information about the benefits of open adoption and so much more information about the intentions of a woman choosing adoption that once families have the information under their belts and they understand the benefits to the child, the long term mental health of the child, and developing their identity as an adoptee in relation to who their biological mother is and why she chose this, once you can dig into that, you're going to feel a lot more confident. There is no getting around the fact that your path to parenthood, if adoption is the call that God has placed on your hearts, it's going to involve a birth mom. So the more you can learn about that in advance, the better off you will be because knowledge is power. And I want to just share with you a webinar. It's called Modern Christian Adoption. I'm happy to send you the link to that. And just email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com. It is one of our best resources for understanding and feeling more comfortable with the concept of open adoption. Sometimes, Heather, people think open adoption is this trending thing or this thing Lifetime is pushing. It's really not. It's been something that has become the norm since the 80s. So, for a lot of
Absolutely.
adoptive parents, that's your whole life that we've been doing this, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay. Let's go ahead and move to the next question here. What is the cost involved in adoption?
Well, in the US, the average total cost by the time you pay for legal services, perhaps help with housing for the birth mom, perhaps help with copays, your adoption agency, and your home study, it generally rounds out to a total of around 45 to 50,000. And actually, Lifetime is smack dab on that mark with the total projected cost we ask families to plan for. Now, we have a lot more information on how to understand the cost and just get your info packet. There's a page in there with a sample budget. There's a page in there with multiple paragraphs that describe how we come to these different figures. And there's a page in there that talks all about the services that you receive when you are in one of our programs here at Lifetime Adoption. So be
Mhm,
sure to get a hold of that info packet. You can email me, kim@lifetimeadoption.com, and I will send that right over to you.
mhm. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, Kim. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next question here. Do you have funding options?
Yep. We have some really great options to help families create more of a stepping stone approach. One of them is our blueprint option. And the thing that I love most about that is that we offer your adoption finance coach, which is YAFC for short. And you can only access that if your agency that you've chosen has decided to opt in to YAFC and hire this firm who really specializes in helping prospective adoptive parents with building their fund. So they help you one on one with creating a plan, dealing with how much you can save, what kind of fundraisers do you want to do. And they have lots of experience in helping families apply for grants and actually receive grants. I think
Mhm,
like 10 to 20,000 on average in
mhm,
grants. So if you're in our blueprint program, that means that you have chosen to work with Lifetime. We've chosen to work with you and you have made a small payment toward your program, and we're not actually actively presenting you to birth moms yet because you have reasons why it's not the right timing yet. You're working with a funding coach. Maybe you're even starting your home study so you can be eligible for extra grants that the funding coach might have for you to apply for. And you are holding your spot in the program so you can start whenever you want. And because a lot of times families in our blueprint program, they just needed maybe like a few more months to save up before they were ready to jump into a more advanced option. They want to know that their fee is like set in stone.
mhm,
So if
mhm,
there was a fee increase for some reason, that wouldn't affect them and be a setback. So the blueprint option is a great way to start. And then you can go into our payment plan option. And of course, when we talk more with you one on one, we can explain everything. But
mhm,
just know there are great resources that actually help you build your adoption fund and plan the timing. So just having good communication, I think, is the most important part so that we can
mhm.
guide you and understand what your needs are.
And just to add a couple things there, the adoption finance coach that Kim was mentioning, it's not just available for families starting with a blueprint option. Families who start with the payment plan or with the full lifetime program, you can have access to that adoption finance coach as well. You just have to ask, and we'd love to introduce you and provide that free benefit that goes along with everything else Lifetime provides. One other item is the adoption tax credit. If you are not familiar with the adoption tax credit, it is, I think it's right around
16.
$16,000 right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a dollar for dollar credit for every dollar you spend on adoption up to $16,000. So that is a big chunk that you do get essentially reimbursed. Depending on income limits, but after your adoption is finalized. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is employer benefits. There are many, many employers who have added adoption benefits to their benefit package. And we have had families have up to $50,000 provided directly from their employer. So definitely, if you don't know if your employer provides adoption benefits, ask. And if they don't, advocate for them to do so because it really is something that has provided a lot of help and assistance for families.
So please don't let the funding discourage you. I think
No.
that it's important to take all the free steps you can, such
Mhm,
as attending webinars like this, learning what you
mhm,
can,
mhm,
becoming aware of these options Heather is sharing, and filling out the application so the
mhm,
coordinator can get to know you and actually help guide you. And then you can understand what all your options are. And you may say, hey, We applied, we had a video call. It was awesome. We love Lifetime. And we're going to need the next 3 to 6 months or a year to sit down and work our plan. We just need time and a plan, and we know that we're going to get there. For most
Mhm.
families, it's just time and a plan that they
Right.
need. And
Right.
I hope that that helps lift a little bit of the burden from you because I know that
Sure.
the funding is just something that weighs on families, especially because they have possibly chosen adoption over IVF, because they
Right.
want, and you explained this well, Heather, the difference in the mindset of like IVF, paying for medical treatments versus,
Yeah, and we've helped many families who come to adoption after really exhausting funds on IVF, and then it's kind of a shock to find out that there is a cost for adoption too. Certainly for families who are open to an older child, or an older sibling group, and I'm talking 8 and above. Certainly those are children available through the foster system that are free for adoption, but those are the only places you really find free adoptions. So it can really be a challenge, like I say, for families who may have exhausted their budgets with IVF. So, there are also many families who are looking to decide between the two. Do we want to do IVF? Do we want to pursue adoption? And it really is, there's certainly both paths to parenthood, but they are very different paths,
Mhm,
and they have very different costs, very different options, and very different success rates. So those are things you have to evaluate, and if you want to talk through those, again, Kim, anyone on our team here is more
mhm,
than happy to help discuss those as well.
mhm.
So this is kind of a big question, Kim. There was a
Well,
second part of this question. What services does Lifetime provide? And the question went on to say something about step-by-step guidance. So maybe the best
yeah.
way you could answer this is to explain the step-by-step guidance that Lifetime provides.
Yes, I hope that you are picking up on our MO of step-by-step guidance even today, how we're guiding you through what to expect in the application process, and that we have a video call. We have videos that we provide for you to watch prior to having a video call with us so that you can have a good foundation and know what Lifetime is all about and what to expect. That way, when we have our video call together, we're able to really focus in on you and your adoption needs and your plan and tailoring that to you. And then once you begin your program, you're going to have your primary coordinator, web coordinator, profile coordinator, a nice little team of people that help you become and stay adoption ready. So there's a lot of support and education that goes on before we're even presenting you to birth moms if you're in the payment plan, or while you're waiting to get chosen by a birth mom. So you have your twice a month webinars, your monthly check-ins, and you'll know that nationwide, Lifetime is able to present profiles to birth moms. We base it on your preferences so that when you get chosen, you're able to say yes to that birth mom without hesitation. And on the flip side of it, we are providing birth mothers or any woman that's contacting us considering adoption, any possible placing parent, we're providing them with 24/7 support from first contact on into the future. We also do a lot of relationship building with outside professionals who don't necessarily work in adoption, but that have clients and patients that may be in a position to consider adoption as an option. So we build those relationships. We provide educational programs for them and resources so that they are equipped to provide an accurate presentation of true adoption options in modern adoption to their client or
Right.
patient.
Right.
So there's a lot that we do in addition to now that the birth mom has chosen adoption and has chosen you, now we're actually planning that adoption with you and birth
Hmm.
mom. And we are the hub of your adoption. So we're orchestrating everything between you all, the hospital, any adoption service providers or attorneys or agencies that are needed in that state. There's a whole lot that goes on and a lot of support that is needed. Now, our adoptions are generally a lot smoother than other adoption
Hmm.
professionals, according to what hospitals say to us, because of all the planning that goes into place, all the education we provide for you as the prospective adoptive parents, and the support in your webinars and your monthly check ins. You're just so much more equipped than the average adoptive parent walking into the hospital, meeting a birth mom and baby for the first time. Part of that is our hospital plan too, that birth moms create so that you'll have an idea of what her thought process is. And
Mhm.
also the comfort of knowing you have a plan to keep in touch throughout the years. That's a big one with birth moms. So we provide ongoing support for birth moms even after the adoption. And if you would like ongoing support as you navigate anything in your open adoption for years to come, we're always happy to help our lifetime families. And
Yes.
that's why we consider you part of the lifetime family.
And I think that is one of the most exciting things for us is that we do have families who return to adopt a second and even a third child from
Mhm.
Lifetime. So that's a awesome testimony to me. Um, and uh, One other thing, Kim, that you mentioned, and I mentioned it early on, is our profile development. I talked quite a bit about that, but a lot of other adoption professionals will have you pay a third party to help you do that. And the third party doesn't work with birth mothers. Maybe they were an adoptive mom or something, but again, so much of what Lifetime does is really shaped by providing the best services to the birth mothers, because without a birth mother, an adoption isn't going to happen. And so it's really important to us to not only help and support the birth mothers, but also guide them with care and compassion through the process. And really that's the same way we look at our adoptive families. We understand for many families they may only adopt once. And certainly most couples or single moms haven't adopted before. So you're coming into a process you've never done before. And really that's what I believe our team really excels at, is that that step-by-step guidance, encouragement, answering questions, because it is something that most people are not familiar with, and we really want to be sure that our families as well as our birth mothers have all the help and resources they need as they move through the adoption process.
And with Lifetime, you're not on your own. We're here to help you and walk you through each step of the process, no matter where we're coming into the path together. If you are just now starting to learn about adoption, or have been trying to adopt for quite some time, or maybe you're not even sure what your options are and you need information before you can
Hmm.
decide, be sure to reach out to us. You're always welcome to fill out the free application based on what you know of your adoption needs and family characteristics right now. And so that way we can have a really good foundation of information as we seek to tailor the advice and information to you. So be sure to apply, lifetimeadoption.com/apply. You'll receive an automated response that will let you know that you have successfully sent in your application and that our applications coordinator is going to be able to access that. From there, within the next couple of business days, you're going to hear from our applications coordinator. Her name is Becky Tauka. So you're going to get correspondence from her. Keep your eye out on your phone and email for correspondence from Becky because she will definitely be reaching out to let you know, hey, we have everything we need. It's all complete. We are going to be reviewing your application and getting back to you in a couple days. Or she may say, hey, I had some questions. We need some clarification, or something was left blank, or we still need your photo, whatever it may be. She's going to guide you through those initial days. And then once your application is pre-approved to have a scheduled phone or video call with us, you're going to have a coordinator assigned to help you through the rest of your application process and on into starting your program until you get to meet your primary coordinator. And then once you get matched, you'll have your birth mother coordinator. But
Hmm.
be sure to request our information. You can email kim@lifetimeadoption.com. Take a look around our website. You can read about our founder, Marty Caldwell. She is a Christian adoptive mom, and she went through several pregnancy losses, and one thing led to another, and here we are. She started Lifetime
Hmm.
in 1986. So much of what you're experiencing and the comfort that you feel in hearing about Lifetime and just all the information that we provide and the clear cut recipe that we have for you to follow, it
Mhm.
all stems from our founder being an actual adoptive mom herself and what she experienced trying to adopt all the way back all those years ago. So
Mhm.
we're excited to take the next step with you, whether that's a conversation or an application or a text or an email, smoke signals, whatever you, you want. You can call or email us or text us, and we look forward to talking with you again very soon.